weekend.
Let's bring him in. Coach Mondello of Wyndham. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure to join you.
What was the key in your mind to that win Friday night at Dairyfield?
Really what we look at is we look at the matchup. We feel like we've got a number of guys that bring a lot to the table for us, especially defensively. And we just, as a coaching staff, want to find the right matchups for us going in against almost anybody. And really since our Goffstown game, we've been able to find the right matchups that work for us. We just want to put our guys in a position where we don't ask them to do too much. We just ask them to worry about one individual guy and want to put them in a spot to be successful. And that's kind of been our motto since our Goffstown game.
Again, Ross Mondello on the phone here of the Wyndham Jaguars. Coach, you're still kind of getting your feet wet over there at the profession. Tell me, is this program ahead of schedule as of now in your mind?
We feel like we're just on the right track right now. Coming in, our coaching staff saw a lot of really good things with the Wyndham program. We saw a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources given to us by our athletic director, a strong youth program, and a commitment level from the kids. From day one, meeting with our captains, meeting with, most of our upperclassmen, we really got the sense that this was kind of the path that they wanted to take. And we're just there to kind of guide them along, give them the tools and the resources to be successful. And honestly, we feel like we're making strides each day.
Ross, Coach Cameron, thanks for coming on. Congratulations on the big win. That was a great event. I was there from start to finish to watch, and I was just impressed how your team was they were ready to play right from the start. The sideline had energy, the coaching staff had energy, and congratulations getting them ready. So when you lose 75 to 80% of the faceoffs, how do you make up for that lack of possessions?
Going into our season, we looked at a couple areas, faceoffs being one of them, and our goalie play being the other one that we really wanted to work on early on, really build some confidence in those guys and really allow them to be successful. Really, we look at our faceoff guy. We don't look at the numbers. We obviously want to win faceoffs. So we want to win, 60 to 70% of the faceoffs. We feel comfortable with the guys that we have out there, that they're going to make it a dogfight, that they're going to make it a battle. We're not overly concerned about winning those initial draws, to ourselves or, drawing it out to our wing play. We feel confident in those guys that if we don't win the faceoff, that we're going to get after the ground ball, that we're going to make it difficult for teams to get it in their offensive end, and then we're going to allow our defense, which we feel is playing very well right now, that opportunity to make a stand and get it down to our offense. So really for us, looking at the numbers, we know that, in most games we're definitely below 50%, but our confidence in those guys out there is huge. They know it and they feel it, and we feel like, we want to play to our strengths, which are our defense and our offense. And face-offs are things that we're just going to work on, and we're going to try to do some different things against different teams and just try to make it, a 50-50 ground ball for us.
Now, Ross, did you know that coming into that game, you talk about matchups. One of the key matchups to me was that Stephen Burnaby was able to take Drew Johnson out of the game. Coming into that game, did you know that Chason was going to be out?
We knew that they had a few players out. Due to injury. We were not 100% sure that Chason was going to be out, but we kind of had an idea. We had.
Yeah, I don't want you to give up too much here, but I know you got multiple. I was just curious to see because that seemed very effective having Steven come from D to bounce up to midi, and that was great. Now, as far as from really breaking down this game, you used a timeout early in the third because it was I think Jared Heath was in trouble. So how many times did you think about taking a timeout when they went on that 5-0 run? And in the end, saving that timeout was genius because it set up your goal. But how tempted were you to take that second timeout when Dairyfield went on that 5-0 run?
We knew going into the fourth, that Dairyfield was going to make a push. They're a very well-coached team. Chris is a great coach. And their players, they've been in games like that before. They have experience. They have a lot of playoff experience, big game experience. We knew that early on, we wanted to get a timeout early on that 5-goal run that they had, but we knew there was a lot of time left, and we just felt like if we could just get a stop or a possession and give our guys an opportunity to just settle down, we didn't want to give them that timeout to really get them fired up and to really drop our guys down a little bit emotionally. So we felt like we had to kind of fight through that run, get possession, which we eventually did. Then we'd use that timeout and hopefully settle our guys down. And it worked out. I mean, it could have gone the other way, but it worked out for us.
Again, we're speaking with Ross Mondello, the coach of the Wyndham Jaguars here on FNL Lacrosse.
Ross, good morning. It's Coach Etler. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks.
Hey, to switch gears on you a little bit. First of all, congratulate. Great game. I know we traded texts back and forth afterwards. It was a lot of fun. Great to coach in games like that. You got another big one coming up. You got you got to take care of Pembroke first, but then you got Pelham coming up. Sort of a town rivalry there. How did that game get on the schedule, and what was the intention of putting it there? And then, what are you looking for in that matchup this week?
As you said before, it's a rivalry game for us. It's a game where, a lot of the kids have played youth, whether it's lacrosse or football together. A lot of the kids know each other. It's between the two schools, I believe in almost every sport they play each other. So it's more or less a big rivalry game for us.
Again, Coach Mondello on the phone. Wyndham right now 7-1. Let's look ahead, Coach. You've got a couple more big games coming up, including the one this week against the best team in Division III. That's Pelham, and as you said, that's a rivalry game. Do your kids take it as serious, even though Pelham is a D3 school?
Oh yeah, I mean we really don't look too far ahead. Our main objective this week is to prepare and get ready for Pembroke. We know that they've got some very good players that we have to be able to match up with, and that's the game that we're looking at first. We know down the line Pelham is going to be a very good game for us. They're a very well coached team. A lot of the kids know each other, so we know that it's going to be one of those big games for us. We just have to take care of business on Tuesday, and then prepare for that Wednesday game.
Yeah, and I know it's one game at a time, Coach, but a week from tomorrow you have a rematch in Goffstown against the Grizzlies. That's a game that was close the first time around on your home field. You lost 11-8 in the third game of the season way back in April. Do you look back at that game and try to, take some notes or look for something maybe in the tape that you can use the second time around, or do you just kind of go in fresh and just see what happens the second go-round?
Well, we would definitely look back on that game. It definitely will help us prepare. We have notes on them, and we've looked at film the last couple weeks of them because teams always change from the beginning of the season, to the middle of the season and even at the end of the season. So we do want to be prepared for them. We look at, that first Goffstown game as, a great opportunity to play a great team and a great program. They really have built, a contending team year after year. They play with a lot of energy. They play with a lot of grit and a lot of hard work. And that's the kind of team that we want to become. We want to be the Dairyfields, the Goffstowns, the Bedfords and the BGs. We want to be a program that's, consistently at the top. And, it's a good opportunity for us to play another top team in Goffstown again.
Okay, Coach. So once again, Pelham, Coach LeBlanc, who he had a big win versus Pinkerton. 2 days later, this is just giving you a little get the boys fired up call here. So he 2 days later he has to play Pinkerton. He beats Pinkerton, has to play Sohegan, and gets beat. And then he plays them again a week later, and they beat him 16-11. So, and in high school sports, when you play teams, in rematches, anything can happen. Especially when you're the team that wins, you're kind of like, I'm not going to make any adjustments really because this worked. It's kind of figuring out what is that opposing coach going to do after a loss.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean we definitely feel like early on in that loss to Goffstown, as the season's gone on, we've gotten better. That's kind of what we focus on. We focus on us first. We're making sure that our goalies are prepared and all of our players are prepared, and we want to become better as the season goes on, and we feel like right now, we're making those strides to become better. We're not perfect yet, but we're playing better lacrosse than we did early on in the season. Hopefully that can carry on into that next game with Goffstown.
Coach, we appreciate the time this morning. Good luck moving forward, and let's talk again soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you. That's, again, Ross Mondello, the Wyndham Jaguars head man. That team is now 7-1 in Division II. And Coach said it, they're getting better. I mean, isn't that really the first objection for any team, right, moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I would